we're really week 9, but 8th game of the season. I think our guys are excited. They're ready to roll. Got 3 good days of work in, and got to go out and execute. Got to play a complete game to win the game. I think it's a really good North Carolina State football team, and execution will be will be prime. Questions?
I was curious, from Monday, you mentioned about Shadarian Harrison being a game time decision, not playing. He wasn't on the availability report. Did you hear anything from the ACC? Did you get any feedback on that? Or?
No. First of all, they're probably not looking at your press conference or your questions. And again, when I say game time, like he got banged up in pregame. He got a knee to the quad in a tackling drill over on the sideline there. But dribbling, we just didn't. When I say game, like he got nicked, and we didn't know. We went back in, got a little massage, and he was good to go.
Through 4 of
but he didn't play much.
I don't think he played at all, did he?
Maybe special teams. But it was bothering him a little bit. But he's good to go now, even though I'm not giving you injury reports.
After 4 conference games, have you gotten any feedback from the ACC about how you've handled the availability reports? Have you heard of other schools getting feedback about how they've handled it?
No. I mean, I think everybody fudges them. No feedback. I mean, last week, the one receiver, number 12, they said was, probable, I think. Was that what it was? Big, tall guy, but he obviously, we could tell in pregame he wasn't. So you still go out in pregame. You're watching what their guys look like, what our guys look like, who looks like they're ready to go, who's not, who's taking reps, that kind of thing. You still gotta hunt. Doesn't really, same as it was old time ago.
You said on Monday that you called Dave Dillon a great friend. Did you get to know him during your time when you were both DCs in the Big Ten, or did you get to know him through Charlie Partridge? I know they do that.
No, just through all the ACC meetings we have. I mean, we've been on different, events. We golf together. So those different events that you go on. That's primarily where ACC meetings down in the Island. You spend time with them. So.
How would you assess Caleb Junko to this point in the season, and just the fumbled snaps that's happened twice now? Thankfully, it didn't end up being an issue last week, but is that a concern at all moving forward?
No, he stood about 3 yards from the jugs machine this week, so we should have no more problems with that. He did that a few years ago. I think it was at Duke. You guys remember? We haven't had a problem since, so we went back to old school, what we used to do, and he'll be fine. If you look at it, and again, new snapper. He's got a new snapper with him. I don't know if it's a different type of ball that's coming back, but never had that problem through camp. But I have no concern there. He's a strong, tough kid. Junk's good.
How about his?
He's just taking his eyes off the ball. He's so he's got great hands. He's got excellent hands, really. Guy can play receiver. But anytime you do this, you start looking down the field, looking, what's going on. Just catch the ball first, eyes and hands.
How have you seen Mason progress in practice this week, coming out of that Syracuse performance?
He's had a good week. He's had a good week. Normal. He's looked good.
Coach, 3-game win streak right now. It's kind of a flip. Outside looking in, it looks like the script has been flipped a little bit. You guys have started to figure it out. Is that kind of how it feels for you guys?
Not really. To me, it's a one by one, and you can figure it out one week and be awful the next week. So it's, when we had 2-game losing streak, it was like, hey, we're just going to find a different way to do it. Instead of 7-0, we're going to run off 7 here. But it's just one game at a time, and it all depends on who you have on the field, and it comes down to execution. Taking care of the details. We didn't take care of the details last week on offense. If we do that again this week, we'll be in big trouble.
Given the numbers of linebacker, how adventurous do you get with maybe different formations and adding an extra defensive back or defense? Do you experiment at all in that way?
Not really. We feel good with what we got out there, and we just keep playing. I mean, it's what we do, how we do it, and our guys know what to do.
How have you liked Trey Bukowski so far this season? Just how consistent he's been a kicker.
He's been really consistent. Just keep giving us Trey what he does. He's a strong kid. So, for high school kids, this is a long season, right? I mean, you get to game 8, week 9, they're like, usually they're in the playoffs already in high school. So, week by week, it's a challenge every week. We just got to keep staying on them and details along the way.
I feel like we talk about the defensive ends a lot, but your defensive tackles have been really solid and consistent. What have you liked from them?
Keep knocking on wood. Just the consistency, really. I mean, there's not the ups and downs. I mean, they make mistakes in there. You guys don't see it, but we see the little things that they could do a lot better. But, number one, we can count on. They're healthy. They're taking care of their bodies, and those are usually the guys that get banged up. But they've stayed healthy. They keep their feet moving all the time, and they penetrate. They had to have a great game this week. That offensive line, you'll see them. They played low. They play with low pads, and they're physical.
You came into the season with just about 4 starters at D tackle there. Is there anybody in that group that has sort of stood out amongst the rest of them?
Well, Goats is kind of removed from that one, with all the defensive end he's been playing. So those 3 are the guys that stand out. Jashir, just keeps getting better. He's a guy that every time he comes in there, he ends up making a play, whether it's a sack or a fumble recovery. So he's been a pleasant surprise from where we were in preseason camp. But all 3 of those guys, I can't tell you. There's Francis had a great weekend last Saturday. He needs to keep having those every week. He should be the defensive player of the week every week inside. He's strong, he's powerful. Fitzy's, they're all good. They're all good. Nick James, he's been impressive.
What's impressed you most about Mason?
Just his leadership, I guess. Just for a freshman, he's got some stuff to him. That's probably the biggest thing I see. He's just, and then we'll see how he does. He had an average day last week. We got to be winning this week.
It's pretty impressive too. Like an 18-year-old to come in here and lead. Quarterback is the toughest position.
Yeah, he's just got a little knack to do that. And not that the other guys don't, but he gets around. If you just follow the camera on the sideline, he's not just sitting on his iPad. He's going up and down. Where you see NFL guys doing that on Sundays, going on telling their guys. It's I'm sure Aaron Rodgers does that. I don't get to watch any games, but that's important. You can't really teach that. You can you either have it or you don't.
Looking at both sides of the ball with NC State, just what about them led you to tell us earlier this week that this was going to be that they're the best team so far you guys have faced, that this will be a big test?
Well, I think it starts up front, right? I think anytime you're really good up front, their O-line is really good, their tight end is good, and their D-line is good. To me, like if you're strong up front, they control the line of scrimmage. They're going to put pressure on the quarterback. They're going to get TFLs in the run game if we aren't good. And then the same thing the other way. If we can't get penetration, if we can't stop the run, because of the power and leverage they're playing with, they're a tough football team. There's no question about it. Up front, the run game will be tough for us to stop, and we'll have to buckle them up.
What does Hollywood do that has made him so effective this year, the starting tailback?
He's got great speed. It starts there. He's got the Desmond Reed, speed. He's got ball skills out of the backfield, but he's a spin runner. He's never down. You better wait for that whistle. You better leverage the football because he'll, we showed our guys he's muddled up in a pile of nothing. All of a sudden he spins out and he comes right out the other end. So our DBs, as they come into the line of scrimmage, they have to leverage the ball. We talk about whether it's a safety. Don't think you can just as a safety come down. Oh, the ball's tackled in here and go like this because he's coming back out. So everybody's got to squeeze the football and leverage it, from outside in.
Mason has made so many plays scrambling in these 3 games. Is the downside of that for a young quarterback that if he has some success at doing that, he ends up maybe defaulting to it or going to it too quickly if he starts to feel uncomfortable in the pocket?
Yeah, I think more of just I don't think he was defaulting to it last week. I think it was more of a waiting for the big one to open up and trying to take that shot instead. Just take it, just throw it to Justin. It's okay. That's 6 yards. That's how we had success, in those previous games. Just take what they're giving you. Don't try to be, somebody. Just everything's got to be right for that to happen. We'll take our shots when we take our shots, but just execute the play and don't be a hero.
Is part of that too just because of his youth, he'll learn?
Yeah, anytime you got a young guy like that, there's going to be those ups and downs every week that you go, hey, I got to work on this. Hey, that's this week's, what you preach to, and then next week it'll be something else that, hey, remember, ball security the week before. So there's always something. Make sure you tuck it away and protect it.
Malachi Thomas played roughly 40 snaps, which is the most of his young career. I know Justin was a little banged up coming into that game, but just
how did you know that?
What?
Oh, he's on the report.
Yeah. What did you just make of Malachi's performance, and just what has led him to seeing more of that?
He's athletic. And again, obviously Justin was banged up. And Jake does a nice job too. So we got 3, I think, really good ACC tight ends that will, going to move them around. I'm not sure who will start this week, but we feel confident in all 3 of those guys.
Anything else?
Chris, you had a question.
Yeah,
Go ahead.